What's up, guys? Tim Little, Matt Allen. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin, and welcome back to another episode of our 2025 Spring Buyer's Guide series. Today, we are talking budget rod and reel combos.
You guys have done great so far. You have almost made it through our Spring Buyer's Guide series. We've got today and tomorrow, and then we turn back to our normal 3 full-length videos, 3 shorts a week. Today, we're talking all about that budget-minded gear. Price point-wise, we're going, down here, we're talking about those $50 in a rod, $50 in a reel. So that $100 combo ballpark. Then we get into that $125 up to $200 combo. And then we've got a couple higher end combos down there at the end. But the idea here is to help you guys at this really important price point understand what you get as you increase in price and where the best savings is, where the best gear is going to come at these different price points. I think we've got 9 brands represented here on the deck right now. There is a lot of gear to cover, but this price range has erupted the last few years. And this isn't beginner gear. The fact that it's a $50 rod or reel does not make it beginner gear. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that's exactly what it was. At $50, that gear was going to get you by for a little while, and then it was going to break down. Today, there has been so much trickle down of technology that it is incredible what you get in these price points. So this is a price range now where a serious angler, not a basic or beginner angler, but a guy who is still on a budget, can really stretch that dollar and get a lot of really good gear. And that's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, we all know you earn your hard-earned money. You don't want to waste it on junk. So we spent a lot of time through the last couple years playing around with these different price points, figuring out which rods work with which reels, how we can balance those combos out to kind of stay in those price points. You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, let me give you these couple of spinning. I'll take the casting.
Okay, so let's talk $100-ish combos for spinning, right? So we have the Shimano Celis paired up with the Neck Save. Again, down below in the video description, we will link all of this stuff. You can click on the links. You can go to Tackle Warehouse, look at these items up close. More importantly, you'll be able to read all the specs on these different combos because we don't want to talk about all the specs on all this different stuff. We'll be here until tomorrow. But we'll link all that stuff and you can go and read the different specs and see which might fit your fishing style better. So there's a $100 combo. And then over here,
I'll take it for you.
Thank
It'll
you.
just be a mess.
Yeah, we have the Daiwa. That's the Aired X paired up with the Revros. Again, matchy-matchy. We talked about this combo in our Holiday Buyer's Guide series last fall, but this is another combo that feels really good in the hand. More importantly, it lasts. And that's what you're going to find with all of these combos is we've put them through the test. We put them through the ringer, and they're still making our list. The quality, like Matt said, that trickle-down quality, and the quality's better and their longevity is better.
So at that $50 rod, $50 reel with the spinning gear, essentially no changes from the last couple times that we've done a buyer's guide for you. Those combos just continue to take a beating. It's amazing how well they hold up. So no reason to expand there at all. On the casting side, I've got 2 more for you. Again, from Daiwa, we've got that Aired X, but in the casting series, paired up to that CC80, which is just a great bare bones casting reel. You've got external adjustability. That reel just continues to stand up. I have been very impressed with this the last few years at this price point. You just can't go wrong there. And again, we're linking everything in the description. Like Tim said, we will also give you our favorite sizes for the reels, our favorite models for the rods, because we're talking about an Aired X, but they make different models. We'll tell you what a couple of our favorites are for each one of these also. Next up, we've got from Abu Garcia, the Vengeance line. It used to be that you had to jump into the $79 to $89 range to start getting a bunch of different actions and options. You know, at the lower price point, they give you one or two. Not the case with Vengeance. You have got a lot of really unique actions and models to choose from. And again, we'll narrow that down in the description. That's paired up to that Abu Max X. The Max X, years ago, there was the Black Max. And that reel was just a bomber. I mean, they would, over time, you'd beat those things to death and they would start grinding, but they would never stop. You could run a Black Max until the day you died. That thing would just keep turning. That has been updated. Now you've got that Max X, but that pairing is a really good option at that lower price point.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. These days now, at a lot of these price points, now you can get full rod lines in a lot of these. So
it's
like,
nuts.
Like Matt said, we'll link some of our favorites in each of these lines, but a perfect example of that. Next up for this guy is the Dobyns Maverick series. Again, it's another line of rods, and that's paired up with the Daiwa Legalis. Again, a little bit price point, a little bit jump up in the price point from that $100 combo. What do we now? Right around that like $120 to $140-ish.
You might be a little bit more,
than that.
Yeah, you're in that. This is the least expensive of these spinning models. Now we're going to sort of step
our way
up in price with each one of these.
But again, with the Maverick series, you get a whole rod line, a few different rods to choose from. That Daiwa Legalis, you get that really smooth feel. Again, longevity. We're talking rods and reels that last several seasons, if not multiple seasons.
Yeah.
And again, still has that buttery feel, that Daiwa feel, but that is an awesome little spinning rod combo.
Next up, taking a little jump up in price. Now we're at that $200 rod and reel combo. And in the old days, this is where Tim and I would start. We would not do a buyer's guide. There would not be a single item under this price point right here. And it used to be that everything from there down was, for lack of a better word, junk. The stuff didn't last. It might feel great on day one. You'd get in an argument with a guy in the comments because he's like, this is the best, smoothest reel I've ever seen. But that guy was nowhere to be found 3 months later when it started breaking down. But that has changed. It really has. The trickle down of technology is real. Now at this price point, you are talking high-end gear compared to what we grew up on.
Right.
It is amazing what you get at this price point. What we have here is the Tatula XT line of rods. You have a ton of options. They are very refined. Nothing about this rod says $100 rod. Looking at it, checking this thing out, you're looking at a $200+ rod. Paired up to that Fuego LT, that is a best-selling reel for a reason. That Fuego LT is phenomenal, incredibly smooth, incredibly durable. At its price point, it is hard to touch.
Now stepping up a little bit, we're talking the Shimano SLX-A paired up with a Shimano Miravel. Now this the next couple combos, we kind of got what, about 250-ish.
Thereabouts.
We got there differently.
Less,
a little bit less expensive rod, a little more expensive reel,
yep,
and vice versa with the next combo Matt's talking about. But this right here, tons of options in this lineup, and then that Miravel is just a workhorse. Buttery smooth, enough power, all the drag in the world you need, and again, longevity. That's what you pay for. You're paying for higher end gear, better internals, better drag systems, and again, buttery smooth, same smoothness as the day you bought it. And that's what you start getting into when you spend a little bit more money off the bat. You get that longevity. But that combo right there, SLX-A paired up with a Miravel, that is an awesome, awesome combo. Throw some braid on there, very, very sensitive.
That Miravel also is just crazy lightweight.
Yep.
I mean, it will lighten up any rod that you put it on in that price range. Next up for me, we're taking a jump up in rod here. This is the last of the spinning rods until we get to that higher end stuff down there. This is the completely revamped Element series by Cashin. Okay, Cashin had a wildly successful line called the Element, but they have now refined that line even further. They went back, completely revamped it, went to an unfinished blank, which is stronger, upgraded components, really dialed in the cork in these handles. These are American-made rods on American-made blanks. You're right around, for this Element Z2, you're right around at like $149 mark. Paired up to a Shimano Noski, you're looking right at 250 bucks. And you're talking about a phenomenal, this is not budget gear, this is not beginner gear, this is lifetime gear. This is gear that you will use. And you are, I mean, you are dialed in at this price point in ways that were never imaginable just a few years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy just how much these price points, even though they're sticking the same, the technology is trickling down, and what you get now versus what you got just a couple years ago.
Yeah, how often do we say they upgraded fill in the blank,
and
but the price didn't change?
Right.
Yep.
All right, back to bait casters. We got the Dobyns. This is the Colt series. Again, Dobyns, you have a whole lineup of rods, different actions, different powers. And then this is the Abu Garcia Max STX. Bigger handle, a lot of drag. This is a reel that can handle frog fishing. It can handle flipping and pitching, punching. Has that power handle. Again, high speed. This is an awesome little combo. We will link our favorite models down below, but that Colt series paired up with that Max STX, matchy, orange on orange. That's a nice little workhorse combo right there.
All right, next up.
Oh, you already slid them down.
You've got, yeah, I was sliding them. I'll take that one for you. Where this is at one end of the spectrum, like bold, in your face, orange on orange. Other end of the spectrum, similar price point, because now that we're in the casting rods, we're bumping up those prices again here. We're under a $200 combo here. This is the Shimano Caius paired up to the Shimano Claris. And it is about as, what's the word I'm looking for? Elegant? Like it's the opposite,
classy.
Right? Like here, yeah, classy. It is a classy but affordable combo. The Claris as a whole, if you looked at the entire line, it's a very large line, but a lot of it is multi-species. You know, walleye rods, it's just your all-around fishing rods, but there are a handful of very key bass actions in there. The Caius is just a workhorse. It gets the job done. It is a great price point, and that pairing looks and fishes amazing.
All right, next up, we got the Savage Gear Squad Rod. Again, this is a lineup that has swim bait rods in it. It's a workhorse powerful rod lineup paired up with that Shimano Caius that Matt just talked about. Again, you have that camo, and in the light, this Caius looks black, but it has kind of like a subdued green tint to it. It looks really cool in the sunlight, but this combo feels really good in the hand. You know, you can throw your light Texas rigs, light jigs, and then if you work your way up in this rod line, you can go all the way to your swim bait rods, a little bit different price point. But again, this is another option for you that we've put a ton of time into, and Savage Gear makes really good rods. They do. Paired up with that Caius, that is that reel was new last year.
Yeah.
That's an awesome little combo as well.
You know, the squad rods, we've been talking about them for years now. Anytime a company that's not known for a category wants to get in, if they're taking it seriously, they have to take a leap. Like, they've got to step it up to get in. Savage Gear was not known for rods. When that squad line of rods hit, they were not playing. That reputation is not there, right? It flies under the radar, but we fish those rods a lot. I have caught big swim bait fish on those rods. They are very reliable. I have never, speaking for me personally, I have never broken one, and I have beat on them. Very, very impressed at that price point. Stepping up from there, now we're at that $200 combo, right at 200 bucks. We've got from Fenwick, we have the Eagle line of rods, and then we've got that paired up to that Abu Garcia Max Pro. That Max Pro is a bestseller. That is a fantastic reel. Nothing but rave reviews on that thing, and our own review matches. I have been so impressed with this reel. I had to get over the fact that it's a white reel, but other than that, because most of my reels are black. Once I got past the white reel, I mean, it's phenomenal. This one in particular, I have beat to death. I have cranked and cranked and cranked on this thing, and it has given me no issues ever. I've been so impressed. Fenwick completely revamped a couple of years ago. We're talking from the lowest budget to the highest end. Every single model got a complete revamp, and they launched all that stuff at once. It might have been the biggest product launch in bass fishing. I don't know that to be true, but it seems like it probably was. It was enormous. What they have done is amazing. There's 4 lines of Fenwick rods, and the actions from a budget rod like an Eagle up to their highest end, which is world class, the actions match for every single model, which means if there's a world class that we've fallen in love with, and we link it in the description, but you're not interested in spending 400 something bucks on a rod, you can buy that exact same model in any of the other lines. And yes, the sensitivity might go down, right? That's a given if you're cutting 300 bucks out of that price tag. Weight might go up, but the action, what makes it special, is the exact same across all of them. And that is hard to fathom that they pulled that off. Again, this is a very wide line of rods, so we will link some of the key standouts in the video description for you.
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised with all of those Fenwicks we've been playing with through the last couple of years. They did a really, really good job revamping those. All right, guys, this one right here, no-brainer. SLX. This came out a couple years ago. This is like the standard. I have so many of these combos on my boat all the time, in my boat all the time. Yep. Workhorse, a whole line of rods all the way up to swim bait rods, and then again paired up with the SLX reel, SLX matchy, but that is a match made in heaven right there. That is an awesome combo.
Yeah, SLX, again, that SLX reel took a full revamp last year. No change in price tag. All right, next up, we jump over to St. Croix. This is the Bass X line of rods. One of the widest lines there is from any of these. There are so many models of Bass X, it'll make you dizzy. But there are key standouts. That's 6.8 for one, 6.8 medium, 7.4 heavy. You know, there's just key models that play so well across all of bass fishing, paired up to that 7 GF series reel. 7, the GF was their first shot into the world of bait casters, and they did an amazing job with it. It is very price friendly, but it's got some great components to it. You're talking carbon fiber handle. You're talking about complete adjustability on the side plate, and it's adjustability that works. You really can fine tune your baits. I've been very impressed with that GF. And the Bass X, I mean, the last 3 generations of Bass X have all been fantastic, and it's just getting better.
Yeah, they continue to add more and more models, but Bass X has been a staple for a long time. Really impressed with those. All right, guys, last one before we jump into a little bit higher out of budget-ish rods and reel combos. The Tatula XT bait caster. Again, it's another line of rods. We'll pick out some of our favorites down below in the video description, and then pair that up with the Daiwa Fuego bait caster. Those of you guys that are Daiwa fanatics know that the Fuego was around a decade ago. It went away, and they brought it back in both spinning and casting. Yep. Really smooth, casts really light baits really well. And then again, just like that 7 reel, you got the external braking system on the outside, so you can make little adjustments depending on the wind, the situations you're fishing in, the weight of the bait you're throwing. But that Daiwa combo right there, the XT paired up with that Fuego, is an awesome combination. Super light, really feels good in the handle. It feels balanced really well, and then again, buttery smooth on that handle turn. That is an awesome combo as well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're under the $200 mark there.
It's crazy.
Jumping up, this is higher end gear here. How do we, just hand me something, we'll jump into it here. Jumping into that, let me get that one too. I guess I'll do those. So the jumping into your higher end gear, at any price point, the question always remains, should I save up a little more? Should I reach a little farther? First off, buyer's guide or not, Tim and I will never encourage anyone to spend outside their budget, ever. There's some amazing gear here. So if that is where your budget is, don't go outside of it. Don't go blow your budget. But if you have the money available, or if you are able to save, and the question is, what do I get if I want to take the next step? That is what we want to talk about right here. So 3 combos. I'll start with these 2 casting models. Starting over here, we've got the St. Croix Black Bass series. So this is the step up from Bass X. We're moving up to that like $150 range for the rod, and then about $129 in the reel. So we've got the Black Bass paired up to that Shimano SLX XT. The jump up from the SLX to the XT is the difference between internal adjustability and this external adjustability, being able to adjust on the fly. That is what you are gaining for the extra spend. When you jump into the Black Bass, rods are getting more sensitive, and you are also getting more model options. So there are models available here. The one in my hand is an example. This is the 7.2 MHM. That's medium, heavy, moderate. This is the exact rod. It is in a lower price point, but it is the exact model that Tim and I throw our lipless crankbaits on. So all of a sudden, you're talking about a rod down at that $149 price point that has the flex that you need to keep a very difficult technique working for you, right? A lipless is one of those things where you can lose a lot of fish and they're big bites, so it's a bummer when you do. But all of a sudden, $149, you've got the right action compared to the high $200 to $400 models that we are sometimes throwing our lipless on. Huge savings. Stepping over to the other one here, again, that Cashin Element Z2. We just talked about what the upgrades were in the spinning. The casting is the exact same. Ergonomics have gotten far superior in this lineup. I really like the way they feel in the hand. About $149 in those rods, give or take. We've talked about a lot of rods. We're going off memory, so we could be a little off. Yeah. But I jumped up, instead of an SLX XT, we jumped up and spent the extra money here to go all the way to the SLX 70 MGL. What do you gain there? First off, the frame of the reel is unbelievably comfortable in the hand. You can palm the whole thing. Fishability is amazing. But far more than that is that you jump up to Shimano's MGL spool. All you need to know about MGL spools, whether it's in an SLX or a Metanium or anywhere in between, you can send it. It is incredible how much farther they cast. Again, do not spend outside your budget, but if an MGL spool is in your budget at any price point, that spend is a significant difference. The castability, your range, when you're out there and the fish come up schooling, you can now reach fish that you could not reach before. It is a significant real world difference in how far you can cast and how many fish you can reach in a day on the water.
Yeah, the coolest thing, that combo he was holding right there, the last 2 combos he was holding right there, now you're getting into combos that are in or on our boat all the time whenever we're fishing. Right. That 70 size MGL feels so good in the hand. It's a 70 size. That 150 is a little bit bigger, more of a workhorse, that XT. But these are combos now that we're fishing on a daily basis, and yep, they're awesome. All right, one more spinning combo for you. This one kind of flies under the radar, the Shimano Intenza. Now, I don't know why. Talk about classy. This is a black with gold, looks really, really nice. Good cork on it, but more importantly, very sensitive, very light. It kind of, I don't know if it's in the shadow of Zodius maybe, because that's such a high, that's such a well-selling, well-liked lineup. You know, we love it. But the Intenza,
I think the reality is anybody who can make the leap to a Zodius or an X-Pride makes the leap because of what you gain there.
Totally makes sense. But that Intenza is a sleeper, and it's an awesome rod, both bait casting and spinning. But we're talking about spinning here, paired up with, this is the Miravel, the Shimano Miravel. Again, Shimano on Shimano. What you get with these higher end products, like I talked about before, is longevity.
Yep.
You know, these are combos that we've used for now a few years, right? A couple years, a few years, still feel like the day you bought them. Drag, smoothness, how well it balances in your hand, the sensitivity, all that combined makes an awesome day in and day out combo. So you can't go wrong with the Intenza paired up with that Miravel.
One thing to add to Intenza is at that price point, you know, that 149-ish, somewhere in there, the jump from an SLX to an Intenza, that is the jump. SLX has a lot of models, but most of them are like your core bass fishing, you know, a 7-foot medium, you know, your 7.2 heavy, a 6'10 medium, like core bass fishing models. When you get to Intenza, they start adding in some of your unique actions, like your northern smallmouth type, like true finesse rods,
right?
True power rods, true cranking rods. You've got a lot more options within that line for things that really let you jump down the rabbit hole of some of the techniques.
Yeah, technique specific stuff. 7.4 medium light spinning, stuff like
exactly.
That. Right. Well, again, we'll link all of our favorites down below in the video description. But guys, this is the whole reason for this series, to help you guys with your decisions for your hard-earned money. Where do you need to spend in your casting and your spinning rods? We've done it. We've played around. Like Matt said, we have 9 or 10 different brands here. A lot of testing, a lot of fish catches, and we're happy to say this stuff doesn't necessarily break the bank, but it will last. Longevity is key here. Yep. And we know that when you spend your hard-earned money, that you want to get a good product. And lucky for us, a lot of these companies, the brands are trickling down their technologies, and it's just getting better and better with lower and lower price points.
Yeah, fishermen are just winning the last decade. There's no way around it. All right, with that, we are going to wrap this one up. Tomorrow is the last video in our Spring Buyer's Guide series before we go back to our regular schedule. Tomorrow, we are talking bang for the buck rods and reels. These are not at any price point. This is bang for the buck budget, bang for the buck ultra high end. This is at every price point. Where are the rods where your spend reaches the furthest? That's what we're covering tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow morning. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you then.